All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Jen. Welcome to today's stretch class, Sunday stretch. Okay, so for today's class, our equipment that we have includes 2 sticks. So hopefully you have at the ready 2 sticks. And then I also have my yoga strap. Okay, all right, so with 2 sticks, we're gonna explore some of our options with 2 sticks. So it's kind of a nice option to help us with balancing movements. It also helps us obviously stretch, and we can stretch in a bilateral way. Okay, so we're just gonna start here, on our feet, knees slightly bent, and I've got the sticks out to the side. And so the very first stretch that I really enjoy doing, kind of first thing, is a chest opener. Okay, so I'm extending, the sticks are right about at my pinky toe, is about 3 to 4 inches offset. And I'm going to bring the head of the sticks together and then open up my chest and send the sticks back as far as I can. And this is a really slow first opener. And if you feel it too much in your neck and shoulders, you might consider dropping your grip down just a little bit. And work through your breath, exhaling as your arms go behind. And keeping your focus on lengthening through your chest. That's your goal here, lengthen through the chest. You may also feel it in your biceps, which is kind of nice. Because as we go and do other things today, we'll rely upon nice long biceps. Good. Now, we might not always be using 2 sticks, so you may find that you'll be setting it off to the side. Make sure you set it to a place where you don't trip over it, but that you have access to it. Good. Okay, now my next introductory stretch that I like to do with 2 sticks is I split my body with the stick. Okay, so for the first one, I'm going to extend my right hand out front, right in front of my belly button. My left hand's going to go off to the side. So this is our introductory rotational stretch. Okay, so I want you to remember that when we do rotational stretches, we want to keep our spine nice and straight. And my left is to the right. And so I'm going to turn, that didn't make sense. My left hand is to my side, and I'm going to turn to my left. And as I do, I'm going to push through my stick through the ground. Okay, I'm going to rotate and turn. And so my left lat is engaged, and my right hand is just going along for the ride. But I'm focusing on driving through the left hand to aid my rotation, but being mindful of not rounding through the spine, keeping my chest lifted as I go. And obviously here, my hips are turning. But what I'm learning through this movement is as I rotate, my lats have a job to do. It's not just twisting and driving from the front side of my core. My lats are also strong. Exhale as I go. And being kind to yourself, remembering that as you start, especially if this is your first rotational stretch, that your range will improve. Try and stay loose and relaxed as you go. One more. Good. Okay, now left arm in front of your belly button, right arm to the side. Okay, make sure you're extended straight out, so you're a nice right angle here. Okay, soft knees, we're not going to over grip in our feet. And then exhale as you turn. Now, I know I did say that arm that's rotating to the back, now my right arm is the driver and my left arm is going along for the ride, but I can play around with driving force through the stick with that front hand as well. But if you do so, just remember not to sink through the chest. Good, 1 or 2 more. Good. Excellent. Okay, what else can we do with 2 sticks? Okay, so I'm going to position myself to the side. And I have the sticks out in front. So here you go, they're out in front and they're gonna run nice parallel, and I'm gonna set them right about at my collarbone. So if you were in a position where, you know, maybe you had bad hips and you weren't comfortable going into a hip hinge unsupported, this is a way that you can have a little bit more support and work through getting the stretch in your glutes and hamstrings that you might need. And it helps us play with some other things. So right now we're just going to work on a nice two-legged hinge. Okay, so it's extended out at an angle. So now you want your hands to be like really cool and dry, because we're going to place the palms on the top of the sticks, and our feet are gently wide and on the ground, about comfortably wide, maybe slightly wider than your hips. Knees are softly bent. Belly button in, and we're going to exhale, and our hands are going to press into the sticks as we hinge forward. And as you press your hands in, you're finding that lat activation that we like to drive. And you can slide your way down. And if you feel like, oh, I've had enough, then wrap your hands around the stick and grip. And then you can explore how long you want to stay in this position as you lengthen through the hamstrings and glutes. Now, I would typically tell people just activate through your heels and contract through your hamstrings and glutes to drive up, but you can also climb your way up. So keeping one hand gripping on the stick and climb and press into the stick to return to an upright position. Okay, let's go again. We'll try this a couple more times. Sliding down the top side of the stick, making sure your lats are engaged, your back is nice and flat. And maybe you can go a little bit deeper here. And then once you're at the deepest position that you can manage, wrap your hands around the stick. Long spine, nice neutral. Good, and now climb your way back up the stick. Okay, so maybe you always feel comfortable and confident in your two-legged stance for your hinge, but maybe not so much with the split hinge. Okay, so here's where this is useful. Sometimes our balance might not be so good if I'm in a split stance hinge. And I like a split stance hinge a lot because it helps isolate. Okay, so right now I'm keeping my sticks as I had them. So extended out and away about at my collar blade or collarbones, but I have my left leg forward and right leg is back. Okay, and I'm going to start with my right heel down. So right here I can get a good calf stretch, but I want to isolate my left hamstring and glute. So if my right heel pops up a little bit, that's okay. Okay, so now I'm going to slide down the stick just as I had done before. And I'm getting into my left hamstring and glute. And now with the aid of the sticks, I'm not as concerned about my balance and that I might topple from side to side. I can just get into this stretch. And I'm pressing my palms. I found the depth that I want to hold. And so I'm wrapping my fingers around the stick. Maybe I'll slide down a little bit more because I started off with two legs. And so I'm a little bit warm. So let's go a little deeper. Good. And then use the sticks to climb your way back up. Nicely done. Okay, let's go ahead and switch legs. So now right leg is forward, left leg is back. All right, making sure that your legs are in parallel. Both sets of toes are pointed forward. Make sure you have a bend in that front knee. Okay, if it's too straight, then you're going to be pressing that heel into the ground, and we really want to allow that leg to stretch. So allow that knee to bend. Okay, hands, palms sliding down. Hips are not descending. That's key for a good hip hinge. Nice. And now climb your way back up. All right, well done. Okay, so now we're getting a little bit warm in our hamstrings and glutes. Okay, let's get back to our two sticks. And I know this is a crowd pleaser, this next work. It's become one of his favorites. Ed's. He gets a lot of it in his therapy with me. Okay, he's doing great. Yeah. Okay, so I have the sticks out to the side now, and as you can see based on the angle on the screen, the base of the stick is closer to my feet than the head of the stick, and I'm going to grip out level from my shoulders. All right, so now we're going to just be consciously thinking about center of gravity and opening our hips. Okay, so we're going to do a nice easy warm up right now. Okay, so I'm going to stand on my right leg and exhale as my left leg floats up and back down. Okay, and I want to do it intentionally, purposefully, firing through the sticks to maintain my core engagement and to help with my balance. If I feel like I'm struggling today or I need to get warmed up in my balance, that's all right. Good, and if you want to, you can imagine that your oblique is pulling that leg up. Exhale as it rises. Good, maybe one more. Okay, now let's go ahead and add a little bit onto that movement, okay? So as we exhale and lift, then we're gonna swing the gate and then drop, okay? So we're working in little circles, trying to maintain that knee height, swinging it open. Good, and you should be feeling, if you're standing on that right leg, your center of gravity is balanced over that right leg. So that's an element that we want to really fine tune, is knowing in our body, particularly when we're on just one leg, where's my center of gravity? Good, one more. Excellent, okay, let's switch to the other leg now. Okay, so hopefully you just have a little quiet fire burning in that right glute that was supporting you, okay? So now we're gonna stand on the left and we're gonna start moving that right leg, okay? Exhale, rise, and descend. Good, and our goal is getting that knee up to the belly button. And as you do so, you can think, I'm gonna keep my leg as a dead weight for my core, and I'm not flexing my foot. I'm keeping my foot nice and relaxed, and that can help you drive that thought process into your belly and out of your quad. Good, okay, now let's take that little circle fashion. So out in front, to the side, and down. Fire through your sticks, support your balance. And this is the movement that's gonna start firing up that left glute, right? Exhale, as you rotate that knee out, you can feel that glute work. Good. Last one. Okay, nice job. All right, so now our glutes are getting warm. Let's add on to this work. So now, be mindful here. You can have your sticks close or you can have them far. The next level of work, you want them in a little bit close to begin. If you find that, oh, this isn't as hard as I thought, then you can back them away a little bit because we're working on our lateral range here. Okay, so here's our work. I'm gonna stand on my right foot. I'm gonna drive the outside of my foot into the stick. So the midpoint of the side of my foot is into the stick, and I'm gonna have some pressure into the stick. And as I exhale, I'm gonna contract through my oblique and glute to get my knee up as high as I can and back down, okay? And we're focused on our balance. No leaning, straight spine. Good. Finding that hold, contracting, find that strength in your obliques to hold the weight of your knee. All right, one more. Good, okay. Let's go ahead and switch to the opposite side. All right, so you'll stand on your left leg, swing that right leg out, midpoint of the foot into the stick, and then contract to raise the knee. And hopefully you're feeling, yes, I can feel my obliques supporting this movement. I'm looking to get my knee up as high as I can. Good work. 3, 2, open up, folks, and 1. All right, nice job. Obliques on fire? See. Okay. All right. So our last element that we're going to do here is we're going to build on that piece that we just did. So we're going to extend, raise, and then swing open to the middle. Okay. Keeping our balance. All right, ready? Inhale through your nose into the chest, and then exhale as you begin your work. Good. All right, now we've been doing a little bit of hip work here for a minute, okay? So hopefully your hips are feeling more open. If you feel like you can push your sticks out a little bit wider, because that's our goal, hip opener and strengthener. Good, if you can, let's try 2 more on this leg. And then we'll switch sides. Good. Okay, switching sides. I'm gonna bump mine out just an inch or 2. It doesn't take much. Inhale into the nose, and then exhale. Good. Nice and controlled. All right, nice job. Okay, if you want to walk it out just a little bit. Okay, the last strengthener, okay, and this is glute work, but instead of working laterally, we're going to work this way, okay? We have talked in the past about the best way, the proper way that we want to drive glute engagement for our half kneel, our lunges, how to get ourselves safely off the ground, right? So this piece of work I've been working on with some of my clients to get you into that movement of glute engagement where you need to be in order to get there, right? So it's our progressional piece. So what we do here is we put the sticks in close to our body and the head of the sticks away, and we're running parallel to our shoulders. Okay, so I'm going to move to the side. And so this, I'm going back to my split stance. All right. Okay, so here I am in my split stance. My arms are extended straight out from my shoulders. The base of the stick is in, the head of the stick is away. My front leg right now is my left, and my knee is bent, okay? And I want you to think about digging that heel into the ground first, finding that glute activation, right? I'm digging my heel in. Yes, I can feel my glutes starting to power in my hamstrings, and my left foot or my right foot is just kind of back behind for the ride. Okay, what we're working on here is activating through that left glute to drive a knee thrust. Okay, we're not bouncing off the ground behind us using plyometric force here. We're trying to drag our pelvis forward from our left butt. Got it? All right. Okay, so use the sticks to help fire through your lats. Exhale. Good. And at the top, you know, obviously we're working on balance, but you want to pause for a minute and say, am I squeezing my butt? Right? Did that glute force help drive my movement? Not, not brute force, but glute force. Exactly. And as you get better and better at this, right, you can go down lower and lower. Good. Okay. Let's switch. Right leg forward, left leg back. Okay, starting into a split stance. So when I say that, that usually means if I'm in a split stance, my weight is pretty evenly distributed and my back leg is mostly straight. I'm not going into a half kneel, okay? So I'm gonna start here, right heel digging into the ground. Exhale, contract and drive. Good. Okay, as you start getting warmed up, as you're able, go deeper. Do one more. Okay. Glute force, I like it. Okay. Right now I feel like I want to go ahead and give myself a little glute stretch after all that. So I'm going to go ahead and slide down my sticks one more time. Nicely done. Good, nice hinge. Okay, now at this point, I'm going to set down my second stick and we'll go back to our single stick. Okay, so that was a lot of glute lower body work. Yes. Okay, so now we're going to start migrating our way up, work into our upper body. So I've got my single stick. My arms are extended as wide as they can be. My knees are soft. I'm trying to let go of the tension in my legs. I'm thinking soft chest because I'm going to start with my shoulder dislocate series. So I'm going to be nice and relaxed in my neck and shoulders. And exhale as I raise the stick up and soften through the chest as I allow it to drift back and behind down to my hips. Good, one more. Good, okay, I'm working through my circles. Trying to get complete circles, so landing with that bar parallel to the ground in front and in back. And think lengthening through your back and your armpits to get it up and over the head. Try not to lean to do so. Good. Change directions. Reach and reach. Good. Okay, let's settle the bar behind our back. Palms facing, soften your knees. And exhale as we take our rotations again. I know it's been a few minutes since we started with that. So let's make sure we give ourselves some space to relax. Good. Maybe just one more. Excellent. Come back to center, and we'll plant that single stick out to the side. And grip the stick as high as you can, okay? So for this opener, we're gonna open up laterally. So the higher your hand is, the easier this stretch is, okay? So I have it now, be mindful, I have it at the midfoot, okay? Base in, head out. And I wanna stay as flat as I can as I perform this work. I don't wanna turn in, okay? So I'm soft. With my opposite hand, which happens to be my left, I'm bringing it out to the side, okay? So as I inhale through the chest, I'm gonna start moving my hip away from the stick. And as I exhale, I'm softening through the neck and framing my ears with my biceps as I try and bring my hands together. Now, this isn't direct access to your back. It's more stretching through your obliques. Try to soften through the tops of your shoulder. Think armpit to hip. What's going on, James? Okay, come down. Now, if you felt like you have more space to stretch here, lower your grip on the stick. All right, and the goal being that we're gonna frame our ears with our biceps. We're gonna get into this a little bit more deeply, okay? So inhale through the chest as you prepare, palm up, and then exhale as the hip moves away and you bend even more deeply and extending your hands together, opening up your side, relaxing through your ears and neck. Good, okay, come up. Now, I always like to work in sequences of 3. So if you are not feeling this third one, that's okay. Or if you want to stay where you're at or experiment with going deeper or higher, all of that's fine, okay? I'm going to take this one last round and exhale as my right hip moves away from my stick. My right arm is going to extend, left arm extend to meet it. All right, nicely done. So you want to feel that armpit to hip, rib cage separating. You shouldn't be rotating and get a tremendous amount into the center of your low back yet. We're just kind of working and opening up the supporting muscles, okay? Switch the stick to the other side. Set your framework, so mid-foot and a couple inches away. Grip is nice and high. All right, so now it's on the left side, so my left hip's gonna move away. All right, right arm is out at a right angle. Exhale, left hip away. Both arms extend and biceps meet the ears. Good, okay, come back to center. Lower the stick, your grip on the stick a little bit if you feel like you can do a little more. Exhale as you reach up and over. Good, okay. Check down, have a gaze down at your toes if you can, making sure that you're working nice and flat. Good, and return. All right, and last of our 3 stretches here on this side. Exhale, hip moves away as you extend and reach for the stick, framing your ears with your biceps as you're able. Excellent. And come back up. Good. Okay, so you should feel stretched out in your rib cage now. Okay, and that is going to help with our next one, which will go right into windmill. Okay. All right, so with windmill, take that same stick and extend it away from your belly button, so it's going to divide you right down the middle. Now, in this move, if you want a stick length that approximates your wingspan. Okay, so if your stick is too much shorter, you won't get the same range of benefit with this stretch. I'm going to have my grip with my left hand at the very top of the stick, and that hand is going to be working really hard because it's going to be supporting your entire body weight. And your goal is to hang from that hand and rotate down to the ground so that your top hand is on top and your bottom hand's on the bottom of the stick, and your chest meets the stick, and your hips and feet, obviously your feet stay on the ground. All right, so soften your knees. All right, extend your right palm. Okay, and then rotate it externally and grasp the stick. Okay, check in with your left hand on top. Make sure the grip is nice and strong. As you start lengthening to the stick, allowing that arm to bend, and then melt forward to the stick. Okay, good. Now you want both armpits ideally to reach the stick, and you want your stick to remain straight up and down. All right, so your feet haven't rotated. Your pelvis may have rotated a teeny bit, but clearly if you're able to stack your shoulders, you're creating rotation through your rib cage, which is extending into your low back, which is great. And hopefully this is, okay, weight to your heels and slide back. Not horrible because we invested a little bit of time trying to open up the muscles in our sides. Okay, let's go ahead and switch hands. So we'll go back and forth on this one a little bit. Okay, so now I have right hand on top of the stick. I'm going to extend my left hand out, externally rotate, grasp the stick. My right hand's going to be strong as I lengthen and allow my torso to just hang down from the top of the stick. And bringing both armpits to the stick, and then how straight is my stick? Good. And then I bend my knees, rock back onto my heels to come back to upright. All right. Now, if your hands are feeling okay, I know that's a lot into your hands, gripping and holding your body weight. We'll try it one more time on each side. So I'm going back to the left. Okay. Extend that right arm out, externally rotate and grasp the stick. Soften the knees and allow yourself to melt forward, straightening that left arm and melt. Good. Rock back to your heels and come back to standing. And then switch your grip. Okay, right hand on top, got to be strong. Left palm extending, externally rotating. Right hand squeezes as the body drapes forward to meet the stick. Good, and breathe. Good, okay, and rock back to your heels and rise. Okay, nice job. We're doing okay? Okay, good. All right, we'll add in one more rotational bit of work, but we should feel pretty good. If windmill opened you up, we should be ready to go for this next one. Okay, so now we're gonna go into slap shot. All right, so the stick is behind your hips and your palms are facing out as your arms extend along the stick. Slight bend in the knees as you exhale and hinge forward. Okay, now once you stop here, we call this airplane. And so I'd like you to stop here. Now slap shot comes where we begin our rotational movement. So I'm rotating, turning my right palm down toward the ground. Now I'm going to plant the stick into the ground here, and I'm going to try and lengthen my arm up the stick as I'm able and gaze up to my left hand, which is extending behind me toward the ceiling. Good. Okay. Unplug the stick and rotate back to center and rise. Relax through your shoulders. All right. All right, let's try that one more time on that same side, just once more. We'll try and go a little bit more deeply. If you got it to your belly button, try and go a little farther, okay? Soften your knees into your hinge. Pause, and then exhale as you rotate, with the goal being to get just a little farther if what your body will do today agrees with what your mind is telling it. Good. All right, and unplug the stick and rotate back to center and rise. Good. Okay, now we'll go the other way. Giving you a break, only 2 rounds of slap shot on each side. All right, exhale as you go forward. Pause into your airplane and then slowly rotate, planting the stick under your belly button and gaze over your shoulder, that top shoulder toward the right hand extending out toward the ceiling. Good. And rotate back to the center and rise. Good. Okay, and exhale as you hinge forward into your parallel. And then exhale again as you rotate, as you're able, driving your stick a little bit further than last time and gazing over that shoulder. For now, we're just gonna keep our weight even on both feet. Pausing here, thinking length, thinking belly button to spine, tailbones reaching for the ground. Good, and then rotate and rise. Nicely done. Okay, so now I want you to go ahead and get extra wide in your feet, in your stance. Okay, and we're going to use our stick and just do a little bit of side lunges to open up our inner thighs. And our stick here in the middle, I'm kind of alternating hand to hand. You can keep your hands together. But we're focusing on the leg that's straightening. We want to think, oh, I'm getting that in that inner thigh. Rising and then sinking. Rising and sinking. Back to a hip opener, an adductor lengthener. Good. Good, nice and slow with this work. Now you might find that you can pause just a bit in each stretch as you migrate over. Good. Okay, now from here, I'm going to keep that nice wide foot bed into the ground. And I'm gonna do a tiny little roll down, okay? So from here, everyone's hand should reach the ground. Yes, when we're extra wide, hopefully everyone's hands can reach the ground. Okay, so I'm gonna have the stick out in front, grasping it right under my shoulders. And as I exhale, my chin's gonna fall to my chest and my head's getting heavy as my belly button stays in. And I roll down one vertebrae at a time toward the ground. Good. And go ahead and let your knuckles roll down and your wrists roll down as you're able. So now my hands, the backs of my hands are completely on the ground and I'm at my wrists. And I'm just going to pause here to stretch through the muscles of my forearm. Good. Okay, rolling back up to my knuckles. And I'm going to sink deeper into my hamstring stretch. And then as I'm ready, I'm going to begin drawing my belly button in and restacking my vertebrae one at a time until I'm back to my nice upright position. Okay, and now I'm going to walk my feet, toes to heels, back in. Okay, and now let's walk back out, toes to heels. Back out to our extra wide, and we'll roll back down, one vertebrae at a time. Knuckles to the ground, rolling forward. Pressing your wrists into the ground so your entire back of hand is flat onto the mat. Stretching the forearms. And then rolling back up off of your wrists, restacking your vertebrae, and walking your feet back in. Okay, all right. Now let's make our way back down to the ground. Okay, so you can use your stick here or however, but ideally how we get down to the ground is through a half kneel. So if you want to use your stick, you can use it to help keep your core engaged as you go down onto a knee. And I will keep the stick in the hand where the knee is going down to the ground. Okay, and then bring both knees down. Set your stick off to the side and grab your yoga strap. All right. Now I have the yoga strap in hand and I'm going to lay on the ground. And I have both legs extended out for just a minute. Kind of just a second to relax here. And then you could take your yoga strap and place it around the right foot, whether you have it on the ball of your foot or just beneath the ball of your foot, okay? Grasping the strap in both hands, allow your leg to go dead into the strap. Take just a minute. Release through the quad, elbows into the rib cage. And now begin contracting through your biceps to drag your foot up the ceiling. Good. Keeping your leg as straight as you can, but try and release energy out of your quad muscles. And be as relaxed as you can in your hamstrings. Keep your hips anchored. And visualize the muscle just softening and lengthening 1 centimeter at a time. All right, release the tension. Lower the leg just a little bit. And if you're stretching your right leg, move the straps to your left hand. and place your right palm down on the ground. And then turn your right big toe toward your left side. So now instead of a foot that's straight up and down, it's angled off to the side. And now slowly begin contracting and drawing the right big toe toward the left shoulder, but keep your right hip down. It won't be a huge movement. You've transferred the stretch to your outer hamstring on your right leg, and that stretch can feel pretty intense, okay? So be mindful of maximizing the stretch if you can allow yourself to do that today by keeping the hip anchored and just gently pulling toward your left shoulder. And then once you're done with that, soften the knee, bring it into the chest, maybe hug it to your chest just a little bit. Good. And then allow it to soften and extend. And let's go ahead and move the strap to your left foot. Okay, at the ball or at the arch, whichever is most comfortable for you. Return the straps to both hands, elbows into your rib cage. Have your leg at a height where you can get it as straight as you naturally can and allow your quads to go to sleep. And then begin contracting through your biceps to pull the leg and the big toe, hopefully up into view. And you'll have one side that is stretchier than the other. That's very normal. Think soft. Don't think grip. Don't think fear. Be as relaxed as you can. You're in control. Try and breathe through it. You definitely should not be holding your breath and gritting through this stretch. So stay relaxed in your neck and tops of shoulders. If you find you're not breathing, if you find you're grinding your teeth, lower your leg a bit. Or whistle. Yes. All right, lower your leg a bit right now so we can rotate, okay? So we're internally rotating, turning the left big toe toward the right shoulder, transferring the straps into your right hand. All right, left hip stays down as you begin pulling it toward your right shoulder. Good, and when you're done with that, draw your knee into your chest. And maybe you want to draw tiny little circles with your kneecap using your hands. It might feel good. Good. Well, now we have the strap still wrapped around our left ankle. Let's go ahead and get into our cross-legged piriformis, shall we? Okay, so I'm going to lower my leg enough so I can cross my right ankle onto my left kneecap. Okay, so now I have a figure four, the beginnings of. And my right elbow, I'm going to extend and kind of put into the meaty part of the inside of my right thigh. And I'm going to allow my left leg to bend. And I'm using the straps that are laced over my legs. And I'm back down to the ground, and I want to maintain a nice relaxed upper body as I'm able. As I begin pulling on the straps to bring my knee toward my chest, you should feel this in your right butt, your right glute. It's hard not to carry unnecessary tension in this stretch. You may find it in your left calf. You may find it in your neck and your glutes. You may find that you're rounding up. Try and relax. Head should be into the mat. Good, okay. Slowly Untuck that leg. Now right leg is into the strap and left leg is going to be crossed. So left ankle on right knee, left elbow into left thigh, grasping the strap with two hands. Right leg is bent. And then as you exhale, begin contracting through the biceps to bring the right knee in closer to the chest and stretch through the left glute. Good, and as you are finishing up with that, you can take the yoga straps off. All right, now let's just go ahead and draw our knees into our chest and allow them to drift down to the ground to the right side. And ideally, we're gonna get them all the way down to the ground. I'm gonna take the approach today in today's stretch that we're gonna allow the legs to go all the way down and let them go quiet. And then with our arms, then we're gonna try to tee out. And I'm to the right, so in my teeing out, I wanna twist through the rib cage and allow my left shoulder blade to get all the way down to the mat. Now, if your arms are teed out and you're there, go ahead and raise that arm up a little higher to get more stretch through the chest. If it's not there when your arms are teed out, go ahead and bring the hand back down closer to the hip. Now, if you're not feeling a lot of this stretch in your low back, you can bring that top knee even higher above the bottom knee and use that right hand and gently press down. Okay, good. All right, now let's roll back to center and go the other way. So knees return back to chest and they'll float down to the ground to the left side. All the way down, let your inner thighs relax, the back of your knees. And then your arms are extending out, palms up toward the ceiling, hopefully getting your shoulder blades down on the mat. And if you find that you're not getting a good enough stretch here, you can raise that right arm even higher to get more into the chest. If you can't get your shoulder blade down, remember we bring the hand down closer to the hip. And that final adjustment is to get more stretch through the glute. Raise the top knee up higher than the bottom knee so it's lacing over, and then use the left hand reaching up and press down on that right knee. And I'm taking my gaze over to my right hand. Good, now draw your knees together and roll back to the center, and you can extend your legs out. So you're laying on the ground nice and comfortably, palms down or palms up. And take a nice inhale into the chest through your nose. And then exhale through the low belly and out the mouth. Thank you for joining me for class today, everyone. It's great to be back. We will see you next Sunday. If you have any questions, reach out to me, and I hope you have a great week. Bye.